This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined by Mark Tibbs here over Zoom. Mark, been a while since we've last caught up. A lot has happened, especially within the stable since. But how is everything, mate? First of all, you all good?
I'm all good, thanks. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, I'm all good. I've got to say something. I bloody had my Instagram. Tibbs Boxing London has been hacked, and yeah, so I just thought I'd get that off my chest before we move forward. Tibbs Boxing London has been hacked. It's not me anymore, unfortunately. I've got some people trying to retrieve it for me, but yeah, it's way beyond me. But so it's now Mark Tibbs Boxing.
Well, everyone knows. I'll leave a link in the description as well, so you can follow Mark on his new socials. Let's dive straight into it all. We'll start off about a week and a half ago now on a Friday night at the O2 Indigo. Giorgio Visioli kick-started his 2025 in fantastic fashion with a beautiful display of boxing yet again. Another stoppage on the board for him. It's going to be a very, very big year for Giorgio this year, isn't it?
Yeah, I think he's a he's a masterful box fighter now. He's got a nice bit of power there, and there's still obviously he's young. There's still adjustments to make, and that he'll get that through experience. And they're only slightly adjustments, and he's going to hit even harder. And but no, he's a wonderful, superior boxer with great readability. He's going to be good, mate. He's going to be great, actually. Yeah.
Is this the year where we will see Giorgio push for his first titles in the professional game?
Well, do you know what? I mean, he's been a professional for a year. For a year, they say, we should know where we are in 3 years. So if you can see what I'm saying, do you know what I mean? So as his coach, I'm not, I'm in no rush, because he's only been a professional for a year. He's had his first year out of the way, and yeah, so like it's have a look, see where we are next year. But he's got his management and he's got his promoter Eddie Hearn also doing their job, and they're doing a great job. And so yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me though. It wouldn't surprise me because you know he just my dad was sitting ringside, and I never obviously my dad was there with me that night. But when I got home, my wife said to me, "Blimey, your dad, you see him the way he was looking at the fight?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He went, "Well, he was looking in awe, at Giorgio." Because I feel my dad in on what's going on in the camp and that, but he's not there every day like myself. And and he was just looking in awe. He was his mouth was wide open, looking at the performance of Giorgio Visioli. Yeah, very impressed with him as well.
How do you reflect on this short but superb career so far for Giorgio Visioli? Still a long way to go, but he seems to have gone from strength to strength in every single fight.
Yeah, no, he's kind of he's adjusting to the professional system boxing very very well. He's falling into it very very well, and he couldn't have had a better start. I've got to say, it should have been his seventh professional fight. You know, on the 31st of January at the O2 Indigo, but he's unfortunately he fell unwell on one of them dates, in the previous year. So yeah, but no, he's had a great start, and he's put in the work. He lives the life, and it showed on that night because I had three or four opponents presented to us, and he picked the best one out of the lot. I'll tell you that straight. Because there was another guy I was looking at, and he went, "No, I want him." I went, "Why do you want him?" He went, "Because he's got the best record." I went, "Well done to you, son. Let's do it." So yeah, so like he's got all the attributes and to go to the very very top, Giorgio. Yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing how 2025 unfolds for Giorgio Visioli. Moving forward towards um, a big rematch that we expect to land in the next couple of months, Johnny Fisher versus Dave Allen too. I know you spoke to my colleague Eamon Khan very quickly after the fight over Zoom at the beginning of the year. Listening to interviews, we know that the deal is now done on Johnny Fisher's side for the rematch. Do you have any idea as to when this fight will land and where will it be?
Do you know what, Josh? It's news to me, to tell the truth, that the deal's done. I know there's talk of it and whatnot. I've not. I've had one. I've met Johnny once, in the gym, and I'm due to see him tomorrow and have a session. But I'm not too sure if it's done. So it wouldn't be right for me to say. And yeah, so that's news to me, mate. So yeah, yeah, but if you say it's done, then I'll have to make some inquiries after this interview.
Well, don't take my word for it, but just listening to other interviews from all the other great outlets out there,
Okay.
I have seen some talk that supposedly the deal was done. I spoke to Dave Allen last week in Sheffield, and as we were talking about the rematch, he said, and he also said this on Sky Sports that he feels he's shown Johnny Fisher's ceiling now and believes that it will 100% stop him in the rematch. What's your response to hearing those comments?
Well, no, listen, look, I watched the fight several times, and Johnny won it. I think I've done an interview with you, and I hadn't watched the fight. I hadn't watched the fight. I didn't want to watch the fight again. I watched things in my own time, but I wasn't in a rush to watch it again because of listening to what Jamie Moore said. He said that it wasn't a robbery, so I wasn't in a rush to watch it. But then, when I heard some of the public screaming, I watched it, and Johnny Fisher won that fight. He won that fight. He did get old man at times. He did get old man at times, but the way he come through it and finished strong in the last round. He's just a credit to British boxing and the sport and the young fighters who are up and coming behind him. That's the character. That is the art and character that you have to possess if you want to be a professional fighter. And yeah, but this if this rematch materializes, then yeah, we'll do what we got to do to get the job done properly. I think I said put a nail in the coffin before. I think I've done an interview with you, and that's what I mean. Because you've got me going now. You're getting me rolled up.
I know speaking to you over the last year or so, you've always mentioned prior to the Johnny Fisher fight, I mean prior to the Dave Allen fight, about getting Johnny some rounds. And there's one thing in saying that any fighter can say they've got heart, and there's one thing in showing it in the gym. But under the bright lights on fight night, especially on the stage that Johnny Fisher was on, how impressed were you to see that he was a man of his word and he really did show that he's got a serious set of balls on him to stay in there?
Yeah, I never doubted his nuts, Johnny, or his heart. Yeah, I never doubted him myself, but obviously, I'm with him a lot, and so the rest of you guys haven't seen that. So you have all seen it now. Um, but you know, as I said before, I'm sure it was an interview with you. That fight was not meant to take place. You know, in January, just gone. It was not meant to take place. It wasn't in our plans. But fortunately, Johnny got an offer from the Saudi people, and that it was brought forward. And but I wasn't looking at I wasn't looking at Johnny fighting Dave Allen until like midsummer this year, the new year, 2025. Because as I said before, we had a job planned. We had a job planned, and I'm pretty sure we was going to Australia for a gig, for a job, for a fight. And then I thought, time that comes round, be a good fight, Johnny and Dave. But it was brought on us nice and early. Johnny stood on business, as they say, and gave the public a fantastic fight. Well, I think they did, and yeah, and credit to both fighters. And if the Fisher Allen two comes off, be fantastic for the fans again. I'm sure.
Absolutely. Just moving away, I want to get your thoughts on some of the big fights that we've seen recently. I think we'll go back to the weekend first of all. We saw Derek Chisora in what looks like his final fight in the UK as he rolled back the years with a dominant display over Otto Wallin in a performance that not many people expected. What did you make of Derek's performance at the weekend?
Well, I was happy for Derek because it was a big show for him, and it was his, apparently his final show. But yeah, it was. done well, didn't he? Done well to get the 10 in. And did he put him over in the last round?
Put him over twice, I
Put
think.
him over twice. I beg your pardon. Yeah. So yeah, yeah. Well done to Derek, and he's been a great servant of our sport of boxing for sure. So I'm over the moon that they laid the red carpet out for him and gave him that show. Yeah. Well done to Derek.
I think a lot of the talk has come post-fight as well. He invited some of his good friends and famous rappers into the ring, and gave them all a poster each with a different fighter on them. One poster had Daniel Dubois, one had Anthony Joshua, and one had Alexander Usyk. And every time we got one of them to lift them up, we wanted the crowd to make as much noise as possible for who they want to see next. And the two loudest cheers were for AJ or Usyk. Still think people don't really quite know who had the bigger cheer. But if he is to get one of those two fights next, would you rather see him face Anthony Joshua or Alexander Usyk in what would be a rematch?
Uh, Probably Anthony Joshua.
What makes you want to see Chisora Joshua?
Well, just because he gave Usyk a really good fight, didn't he? He gave Usyk a really good fight. Usyk ain't gonna want Derek Chisora, I don't believe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So it's a no-brainer for me. If AJ would want that fight with they share the same management, don't they?
I think they do, yes.
So listen, it ain't hard to make.
Outside of those two names, and just looking around that heavyweight division, who else would you like to see Chisora face, or who would be your front runner, I guess you could say, for Chisora's 50th and final fight?
So he's having one more, yeah?
Yes, that so the whole Last Dance team seemed to have
Yeah,
had a bit of confusion. So it was called the Last Dance. It was his last dance in the United
yeah.
Kingdom, and he
Well,
wants to go somewhere else for his final one.
well, if Dillian comes through with Joe Joyce, maybe that's Derek and Dillian. That'd be three, wouldn't it? That'd be the
Yeah,
third fight. I think that works and it sells in London. That's for sure. Do you agree, Josh?
I agree. I agree with you
Yeah,
definitely on
yeah.
that one. I think
Um,
it sells wherever you take it.
yeah, yeah. I agree with that too. I agree with that too. Yeah, I ain't gave it too much fault really, but yeah, that's what I see. Derek and Dillian. If Dillian can get through Joyce, that would work for sure.
And then obviously you mentioned Dillian White and the announcement of him versus Joe Joyce as Frank Warren seems to kickstart what's going to be a massive partnership with DAZN. What are your thoughts on Dillian White versus Joe Joyce as a main event?
Um, it's about right. It's about right. You know, it's about right, and they deserve each other.
Hmm.
Yeah, and yeah, it's about right. It deserves each other, and we'll want to watch it. You get me? And I believe that. Yeah, it's a good fight. It's about right, and they deserve each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you favour in the fight? Who do you believe should go into it as the favourite?
Well, I believe. I really believe it's a real 50-50 because Joe Joyce, the stature and the magnitude and the size of him. And I know Dillian very, very well. I've had 11 unbeaten fights with him, and we've got the world number one. So I know him really, really well. But I didn't really enjoy his last couple of performances. I say I did enjoy them. I just feel that they're all getting on a little bit now. But I feel Dillian has the edge. I feel Dillian will have the edge because just because he's faster. He's faster. He's got a well-rounded style, I believe. Or he did have anyway a well-rounded style, as in variety. And whereas before, a couple of years back, it would have been a bit difficult for Dillian, I guess, with that granite chin he had. Joyce. But I feel his old punch resistance might have been gone. But it's unfair for me to say unless you're around them two guys, more frequent. But no, that'd be a great fight, and I probably do favour White. Yeah.
We know that Dillian has been quite inactive at the top level of the heavyweight division due to some ongoing issues in the past. How big of a factor do you believe that inactivity will play come the night?
Well, Dillian's used to the big nights and the big stages, and I believe he would have been ticking over and that. So I don't think both of them, him and Joe Joyce, they're very experienced guys. You know what I mean? So I don't think I think as long as they get ready, fit, get ready and fit, they're veterans. They're veterans. You know what I mean? They're veterans, and it's like bloody if Frank Sinatra was alive now, he could walk on any stage and bang out a tune, and we would never know. They're out of tune. So also not out of tune, but like they're that experienced. They can walk on any stage and get sort of give a performance or give a performance. But yeah, so I don't think they need any warm ups and things like that. And yeah, no, they'll be all right with each other for sure.
Absolutely. And just my last topic, I don't think we've spoke since the announcement of Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn, but I've got a few different questions to throw at you for this one. How does this rivalry between the two sons, Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr., how does that compare to the one that the fathers had back in the 90s?
I think it's equally as fiery and equally as fiery. I'm trying to look for another word, but it's real. It's real. It's real. It's real. I don't want to use that word hatred, but like it's real.
Mm.
It's real, and it's real, and I'm really getting warmed up, and I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that. It's a fantastic matchup, and finally, it's there. It's there.
A lot of talk about all these weight clauses and rehydrations on Eubank Jr.'s end, but who do you think faces the bigger challenge? Is it Chris Eubank Jr.? Obviously, we know that he struggles making 160. Do you think him coming down to 160 with the rehydration clause, or Conor Benn jumping up to 160 from his natural 147 pounds?
Do you know what? It works. Unless you're in the camps, it's difficult. But let me just give you an example. Like if you're coming up a couple of weights, yeah, against a man who's coming down, yeah, the man coming up's normally got a bit more fight in his body, yeah, a little bit of fight, can think straight. He's got a bit more fight in him, as opposed to the one that's boiling down to weight at a later age in his life, and mid 30s, yeah,
Hmm.
mid 30s. So it could be difficult for Chris Eubank Jr. boiling down to a weight. They say it's his natural weight, but when you get older, it's difficult to boil down to your fighting weight and perform the way you did. Do you know what I mean? And I fancy it being Conor Benn's favour if he's moving up, and he'll be fresh. He'll be fresh and strong at the weight. And I hope they're both equally strong at the weight, so we get a great fight. But you know what I'm saying. But no, I fancy Eubank will find it hard, especially if it goes past the mid rounds. And if Conor can drag him into the mid rounds, I think Conor has the advantage. Yeah.
And I said last topic, but two more that have just popped into my head as we speak. Obviously, you mentioned we know that you used to train Dillian White and you had a great record with him. From what Dillian White was back then, do you still feel he is that same fighter now, or may have faded off a little bit?
Uh, I've only seen a couple of his. Yeah, I've watched his last couple of fights and that. But yeah, every dog has its day. You know what I mean? Every dog has its day. And I hope he's like a spring chicken when he comes out in his next fight. But life's life, man, and that's the way it goes. It comes to everyone. It comes to us all. So yeah, no, Dillian, I fancy his chances against Joyce. Yeah, I fancy he'll beat Joyce.
Just lastly, do you feel if Dillian White is to lose this fight, do you feel that could be it for him? We should see Dillian White retire.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Fair enough. Well, Mark, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Always great to catch up, and I look forward to speaking again soon.
Well, saying that, Josh, you called
Mm,
me there. I answered a bit quick there. Listen,
mm,
Dillian White, Joe Joyce, yeah, they're names, yeah, they're big characters and big names, and this fight's for the young guns coming through. You hear me?
mm.
For them too. Yeah. Sorry about that, mate.
Fair enough, Mark. Always good to talk, and we'll speak again soon.
Cheers, Josh. See you soon.